Anthony Joshua!
Aren't many fighters not named Canelo Alvarez that can pack 70,000 in the house, but this is par for the course for Anthony Joshua.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
World, Anthony Joshua. This man has become an icon in many ways for what he's been able to do outside of the ring.
Rank Jake Paul if he wins this fight, and that will put him in position at least to fight for a world title. Whatever you want to say about Jake Paul, we were all there.
Fight that's captured the imagination and generated huge interest. Two men who split opinion, a fight that splits opinion. It has to be the most eagerly anticipated 8-rounder that any of us.
The fight between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul is shaping up to be intense and thrilling. Joshua carries heavy power, strong experience, and proven Olympic skill, while Jake depends on fast movement, sharp unpredictability, and strong self-belief.
Last one.
It's all right, though.
Yeah, no. Rock, they said no photos, Rock.
Huh?
They said no photos.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah.
But this is what we signed up for, and he's very tall, but that means I can use my speed and my...
Analysts are discussing how each fighter might approach the match, and many expect the early rounds to be fast and aggressive. Both are in top shape, which makes this fight one of the most interesting clashes ahead. Jake Paul is stepping into this fight with a confidence that has caught many experienced viewers off guard. Recent coverage points out that he shows real belief in his ability to meet this challenge and come out on top. This time his focus is intense and his drive is stronger than in past fights. Experts watching his training highlight that his mindset matters a lot, and his confidence comes from both physical preparation and mental strength. This attitude shows that he understands how big it is to face a former heavyweight champion, and he is treating it as a chance to prove himself to a global audience.
He's very big. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation. We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy.
EJ Flores, a respected boxing analyst and former professional fighter, has a more careful view of this fight. He says that even though Anthony Joshua may not be in his absolute prime and has dealt with some tough moments in recent fights, the challenge ahead is still huge for Jake Paul. Flores points out that Joshua's experience, size, and skill make this matchup extremely tough for someone who has not regularly faced top-level opponents. He believes the timing of this fight puts Jake at real risk, and that taking a slower path with tougher opponents one step at a time would have been safer for his growth as a fighter.
Losing to Andy Garcia, I don't think that means you're punchy. I think that means he's fought the best fighters, the best heavyweights over the last 15 years, and he's fallen short, of course, but he's a very, 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 he's a very big man. He's got that Olympic pedigree, and that makes the fight against him very difficult.
It does indeed, what do you think is the upside? There's always an upside for this fight against Jake. I guess, if I play sort of the viewer's perspective, what people are saying on Twitter, they're saying it's a win-win for Jake. You fight a two-time former heavyweight world champion in Anthony Joshua. If you get knocked out, it's no big deal. And if you lose, if you get knocked out, you get the respect of the public as well for taking the fight. If you win, you're the king,
Yeah. The upside is, I think, I don't know, like, everyone's like, oh, I respect Jake. I'm just like, it's just crazy that you would have to fight, a former world heavyweight champion, 6'6", 240-pound gold medalist. That's the only way you get people's respect. Like, there's a lot of other ways, like, and if you don't get everybody's respect, those people just don't really understand boxing. Like I said, I feel like this fight is a little early for Jake. Obviously, I would like to see him fight one heavyweight before this fight happened, at least one heavyweight, and then maybe see him, be in there with a guy world rated in any weight, cruiserweight, heavyweight, anything, before you go in with a guy like Anthony Joshua. It's just a massive difference on the size and the power and win everything. But I guess, if the objective is to make people talk and make people say, oh man, he's crazy, then he's getting exactly that. He's getting what he wants. So to me, it doesn't make sense. This fight doesn't make sense to me at all, but I think it would be there down the road. I'd much rather see like a Canelo fight than an AJ.
Joey Knight offers a different view to those who doubt Jake Paul as a real boxer. He points out that Jake has true punching power. Knight explains that the way Jake has pushed professional fighters shows he is not just a sideshow. This acknowledgement of his strength and ability supports Paul's claim that he is ready to face Joshua with a genuine chance to compete.
Smiling and frowning at the same time. You must be smiling because it's happening and you're getting a mega payday, but surely you must be frowning at the fact that this kid and others out there believe that he stands a chance of even beating you. And look, if the stars align, maybe Jake Paul could close his eyes, he could put his head down, he could throw a punch sent from the heavens, and he could clip AJ on the chin with it. But even if he does, I'd put my money on it that it doesn't do anything. I don't think it does anything to Anthony Joshua, even if Jake Paul does manage to clip him, because Joshua's never been hard to hit anyway. But the difference between getting hit by a Jake Paul and getting hit by a Daniel Dubois is monumental, and even that is an understatement. And the difference for Jake Paul in getting hit by a Nate Diaz compared to an Anthony Joshua is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What do you think AJ would do to Nate Diaz? What do you think AJ would do to Tommy Fury? Come to think about it, what do you think Francis Ngannou would do to Jake Paul? And look at how that went. So either way, what I'm saying here is quite simple, right? Jake's style is very, very easy for Anthony Joshua to navigate, and that is even if the skill set between the two were on par, because although he's getting better at them, Jake still makes many fundamental flaws. He leans over his front foot when he jabs, and that's a problem, because when you do that, you're always gonna have the potential to be...
Experts looking at this fight highlight the huge difference in experience between the two fighters. Anthony Joshua's career includes matchups with some of the toughest heavyweights of his time. Even after a 14-month break from the ring, his long history of facing champions, heavy hitters, and top-level opponents gives him a level of experience Jake Paul has not faced yet. Analysts note that Joshua's understanding of ring tactics, smart movement, and ability to adjust under pressure create challenges that are far deeper than strength alone. They suggest that the result of this fight may depend more on Joshua's seasoned approach than on physical power.
If I'm wrong, right? And just to clarify, I don't class Otto Wallin as a very competitive fight. Every competitive fight that AJ is in from now until the end of his career, and has been in for the last few years, I believe has taken something out of him. Every time he's in a competitive fight, even when he's won, and I'm not saying taken out of him to the extent where he's no longer a good fighter, no longer can do anything, but every single one has taken one out of him. So let's say, for example, you go down the Tony Yoka route and you can sell it as the 2 Olympic gold medalists and whatever. It's a lose-lose, mate. You're expected to knock him out. If you don't, then you go the distance. I think that's going to take something out of you. I actually think that this could be better prep for a Tyson Fury fight. Not just
mentally as well, because he smokes him and it looks great, and then he's confident.
This is what I'm saying, right? Not just from a stylistic boxing standpoint, but from the mental standpoint of the fact that if you go in there and you smoke Jake Paul, straight away, all of a sudden, it's headline news, it's massive, and as well as that, you're coming in off the back of something that's impressive, right? We all felt like the Francis Ngannou performance was really impressive, but it wasn't followed up with an impressive performance. So it doesn't actually determine whether or not...
This is worse. This is worse than that. I don't know what you're thinking, Lawrence, but the Ngannou one, you could at least say heavyweight. You could say that his pedigree. So we didn't really...
On the distance
while
of
he
Fury.
was coming from a different kind of... method of fighting, end of the day, he's still a champion.
Recent commentary from Bart Kwan, Joe Jitsukawa, Ryan Aim, and Steve Green highlights a clear change in how Jake Paul is viewed in the boxing world. He was once seen as a social media star trying boxing for attention, but now he is being taken seriously as a real athlete. Analysts explain that this shift comes from the level of opponents he has faced in recent years, which pushed him to improve his technique, discipline, and strategy. Observers note that fans, trainers, and commentators now see him as someone who can genuinely compete instead of someone fighting just for show. This rise in credibility makes his upcoming fights more important, as his reputation has grown far beyond his online image. The changing perception adds excitement, with each fight now serving as a test of both his skill and his standing as a professional boxer.
I feel like the one that I was mostly from you was the Anderson Silva one. Where Anderson Silva had like one sick round where he's like, whoop, whoop, doing it what Anderson Silva does and missing everything and cracks him and whatever. And then he just like the next few rounds, he's back to like just getting his butt kicked by Jake Paul and walking around, doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think these guys are actually getting dropped to like faking. I think Jake Paul actually has that kind of power. I just feel like they kind of know the deal.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. I make a lot of money. You make a lot of money, not as much money as me, but you make more money than you ever would. So you take it. It is what it is. But I don't know. Kind of sucks to see all these legends, right? Like of the sport. Like, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see this guy is losing to freaking Jake Paul.
I will say I loved everything about the Tyson fight in the lead up, and then as I'm actually watching it, I'm like, this is actually fucked up. My bad.
Yeah, it's like senior. Even when he turns around on camera in the interview in the boxing room.
Oh, dude, it was terrible.
Bro, then they show his ass. Oh my god, that was so dirty. Damn. So it was like such a sweet moment too. He's hugging his son. Everything is cool. Turns away and sees his butt, and it's like, it's like, man,
that's not gonna not be funny though.
No, yeah, you gotta laugh at that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So what's the least amount of money that you would have to take to get into the ring with Jake Paul and lose?
I mean, like right now in my career, I wouldn't do this deal, like.
Television personalities Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara say this fight is hard to predict. They believe the event carries many unknown factors, including the tactical choices Joshua might use. Cundy and O'Hara think Joshua's team may tell him to hold back his power, so the fight does not create unnecessary danger for either fighter. This strategy would change the usual style of a heavyweight fight and could give Paul chances to take advantage when Joshua's intensity is lowered. The commentators explain that this uncertainty adds to both the excitement and the risk of the matchup.
I don't know, mate.
I think it's dangerous.
Yeah,
I genuinely think it's dangerous.
But that's
putting a world heavyweight champion.
But then the cynic,
top 4-5 fighters in the world.
Then the cynic in me tells me,
YouTuber who's never had a proper fight.
Right, the cynic in me straight away goes, I think AJ's probably going to be told, and I don't know this, don't go heavy on him the first.
No, he can't afford to do that. Anthony Joshua can't afford to do that.
Okay, well, that's where I'm wrestling with my own mind right now. You asked me the question, how do I feel about it? I don't know what to make of it, mate. I seriously don't know what to make of it. I seriously don't.
I think it's a joke.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it.
I'll watch it because
I don't know whether I will, JJ. Honestly, I probably will close the vote. Right now, I don't know whether I will. I don't know whether I will, honestly. I didn't watch. Was it Jake Paul that fought? Who did he fight? Mayweather.
Tyson.
No, Mayweather. I didn't watch that. Who fought Mayweather? Oh, it was. I tell you, it was. Who was the MMA fighter?
Logan Paul.
The
one that you didn't know the name of, yeah.
Logan Paul, right?
He fought Floyd Mayweather.
I didn't watch that one either, right?
I know, but Jake Paul's got a bit more boxing credentials. He has. Because he
What about McGregor? Who did McGregor fight? Did he fight someone? McGregor, have I made that up?
Yeah, I don't know. Where's your head at?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
they all
it's all over the gaff. You gave Andy your number and you gave him the talk.
His name's Adam.
Adam, sorry. You gave Adam the number.
No.
You said 03717 22
I gave him the sports.
You gave him the sports number.
No, but I don't.
Get your head out.
No, I don't know. I don't know whether I will.
On the Wade Concept podcast, the host gave a clear breakdown of the physical differences between the two fighters. Plemons explains that Jake Paul's usual fighting weight is around 90 kilograms, while Anthony Joshua competes near 111 kilograms. This large gap in size can affect punching strength ability to absorb hits and the flow of exchanges in the ring. The podcast stresses that these differences are not just numbers on a scale. They create real effects during the fight, shaping both defense and offense. Observers note that Jake must prepare carefully to handle these challenges.
Making this fight, one, yes, that's the former heavyweight champ. Why is he fighting Jake Paul? And two, why is Jake Paul putting his health and well-being on the line? Because someone asked me on Twitter, Wade, if Jake Paul gets knocked out, will his career be over? Buddy, his life may be over if he gets knocked out by AJ, because that dude put Francis Ngannou flat on his back, and I had never seen Francis Ngannou hurt before. And again, it's boxing, not MMA. Jake has a little more experience, but we're talking about a massive size difference. AJ's still relatively young and still relatively got something left in the tank, and he's only fought the world-class guys for the last 10 years. This would be Jake's not only hardest fight, most dangerous fight of his career. If Jake is doing this, it could signal the last one. I'm not even joking. This could signal Jake being like, I'm having one more of these and I'm out. Because where do you go from Anthony Joshua? We'll get into that part in a second, but the Netflix thing. We know that Anthony Joshua is an exclusive fighter to DAZN. Eddie Hearn has stated that multiple times. AJ, I'm pretty sure, even has a piece of DAZN. I could be wrong about that, but he signed a mega deal years ago with them. So for this fight to take place on Netflix would mean DAZN would say, you can have one of our biggest cash draws, and maybe in a revenue share thing, or maybe Netflix pays them some money, but you can have our biggest cash draw and we don't have an affiliation with it. That seems a bit unrealistic. But having said that, this isn't a report from anybody in the camp. This is not MVP saying it. This is not Eddie Hearn saying it. This is Mike Coppinger, who I guess has talked to people in the camp, but an independent source saying that they are finalizing a deal. Not that they're in talks. They are finalizing a deal. So this is, again, we're talking 1 yard line, first and goal.
Adam Katatarol questions the choice to make this fight a fully sanctioned competitive match instead of an exhibition. He says that dropping the exhibition rules puts Paul at greater risk because Joshua's power and experience are far beyond what Paul has faced. Katatarol explains that exhibitions give fighters some protection, letting them show skill and entertain without facing their opponents at full strength. A sanctioned fight leaves almost no margin for mistakes. He adds that this decision raises the stakes and could have major consequences for Jake's career. Throughout his commentary, he highlights the contrast between Joshua's experience and Paul's youth. Joshua's years against top heavyweights have sharpened his reflexes, timing, and ability to read opponents. Analysts note that even if Paul is in top physical shape, the experience gap is still a big challenge.
Fought in over a year.
Yeah.
Brutal knockout against Dubois.
Yeah.
Not the same AJ maybe of the past. He's 36. He's got a chance to earn £70 million, maybe to add to the 150 he's already got. Why wouldn't he do it? Because why would he want to maybe for 5 or 10 million fight a Fabio Wardley who's dangerous, Itoma who's dangerous? Surely from an AJ point of view, it makes sense.
Makes sense. From any fighter's point of view, it makes sense because you're in... Listen, belts don't pay your mortgage, do they? And I know he's got a lot of dough anyway, but 70 million... If someone's going to throw you 70 million quid to fight a lad that struggled and lost to Tommy Fury, you're going to take it, aren't you?
Yep.
So from AJ's point of view, yep, I completely get that. From Jake Paul's point of view, you're leveraging your audience in the world of boxing and making a ton of cash fighting the former 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. Mate, most boxing fans would bite your hand off at that opportunity, especially if you're throwing 70 million quid in the pot as well. I've no problem with the promoters. My problem is that it can't be a legitimate fight. Let's be dead honest about this, right?
Eddie Hearn said it will be.
Listen, there is no commission on the planet that can authorise that fight. It's a 2-time unified heavyweight world champion, still in his athletic prime. You just said he's 36. We're not talking Mike Tyson age of 50 odd here now, are we? Olympic gold medalist. He's had 13 world title fights as AJ. 13 of them. Against the very best guys.
And could take his head off.
Like he done to Ngannou.
It is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely dangerous. Like I've just said, Jake Paul struggled with Tommy Fury. The levels between these two guys are ridiculous. The commissions cannot sanction that as a legitimate fight. There has to be a rule change. It has to be an exhibition. And then you can have a little bit of a move.
Hold on, Gab. Let's go back to proper boxing. I'm with Cats here. You know, this is ridiculous.
Big story, though.
Oh, listen, because it's AJ, because it's Jake Paul, it's going to do numbers and capture people's eyes, right? But there's no way it's a proper fight. It can't be.
Yeah.
Give me 6 pints of Guinness.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more. See you next time.